Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. So today I am going to finally make this video to talk about my third trimester pregnancy symptoms, really my last half of pregnancy, just to kind of talk about that. I've been thinking about making this video for several months, and I've known that I wanted to make it, and I kept telling myself, no, you're not far enough along to be able to talk about it. You're not far enough along to be able to talk about it. And here I am, 39 and a half weeks pregnant, just now making this video, and so I procrastinated long enough. Luckily, baby girl's still cooking, hopefully for not too much longer, because I'm ready to be done. I'm sitting in her nursery right now, and yeah, I made a first half of this video just talking about the first half of my pregnancy, which was really challenging. And then today we're going to be talking about my third trimester symptoms. And then I also wanted to talk about collecting colostrum, because that's something that I've done this time around that I did not do with my first. So let's jump right on into it. So those of you who have seen the first video of this, my first 20 weeks, I was miserable, so miserable. But if you want to see that video, you can watch that video. Second half of pregnancy, third trimester, although super uncomfortable, has been much better than my first half of pregnancy. I still have had a lot of symptoms, but it has not been as mentally and physically exhausting as the first half of pregnancy, I'll say. So some symptoms, I still have, I don't know if I forgot this symptom or not in my first video. I still have the geographic tongue, which is a weird pregnancy symptom that I had never heard of until I got it. So I still have the geographic tongue. We have good days and bad days, but that is still going on. I am still like really experiencing the night sweats. The closer I get to the end, the better it seemed to have gotten with the night sweats, but that has been my entire pregnancy. Holy cow. Actually, a couple of nights ago, I woke up and my legs were like dripping, and I honestly thought my water had broken because it was night sweats. So that's been a really fun experience. It's not awful by any means. There are far worse things. But I have experienced night sweats. Baby girl has been sitting low this entire pregnancy, so I have continued to have just a lot of pressure, some pelvic girdle pain, but I honestly feel like it was worse in the second trimester, and the third trimester has gotten a little bit better. And like even with my first pregnancy, I felt like it was worse then. Having trouble getting out of bed. I'm currently sleeping on the couch now. Our couch is just easier for me to get off of than to like, I really have to get momentum to get myself out of bed, but that's just kind of, you know, comes with the territory. Heartburn, reflux has made its appearance this trimester. Pepsid has been my good friend, especially at night. I don't take it unless I'm actively feeling heartburn or actively feeling like the reflux coming up. But that Pepsid has been doing the trick because Tums was not kicking it. But again, not the worst thing in the world. Again, compared to my first half of pregnancy, not bad at all. I have been experiencing some pretty intense fatigue, but also, I mean, there's a lot to say for that, right? Like, you're growing a person, you're growing an entire person. I do work full time. I have a 5-year-old. So just like getting up, getting together, going to work, working 8 hours, that in itself is already kind of tiring already. But when you're 9 months pregnant on top of that, a little rough. So I've been tired, and of course, because I'm pregnant, I have not been drinking very much caffeine at all. I'm normally a big energy drinker, not a coffee drinker, although possibly in the future that might be something that I turn to. Josh is always trying to get me to try different coffees to see if I will enjoy them. So I've been, less and less caffeine, more and more pregnant equals tired. Really tired. I've been taking naps every weekend, which, I'm just totally okay with all of that right now, recognizing that we are getting ready to have a newborn. Sleep is not going to be a thing. And if I can sleep now, I'm going to sleep now. So I've been going to bed pretty early, taking naps when I really feel like I need to, just that exhaustion. Let's see. Other than that, baby girl is moving and grooving in there. She is constantly rolling and kicking and punching. We have had quite the experience with, it's just been a weird pregnancy. So when I was 20 weeks, at my anatomy scan, they found that I had a partial placenta previa, which just means part of the placenta was covering the cervix, and that needed to be monitored throughout my pregnancy. The placenta has shifted to where it's not in front of the cervix, so that's good. It has been up in the air until, honestly, my appointment last week. So when I was almost 39 weeks is when they finally said, okay, your placenta's good. Because we didn't have a real answer before that. And then also, little girl, they found at her, oh my gosh, was it her 32? I can't remember. I think I had a 36-week appointment, or I was like 35 weeks and 6 days. That's what it was. 35 weeks and 6 days. They found out that she was frank breech, which basically meant her head and her feet were up and her little bottom was down. And so that paired with the placenta issue, they basically told me that I was going to have a C-section. And then lo and behold, by the next doctor's appointment, she had flipped, which is really, really rare. So no more C-section for me. We are aware that the placenta it's still really low, so it does pose a potential issue, but my doctor does not think it's going to be a real issue. So we are going to try for a vaginal delivery, and we'll see what happens. I did have a growth scan at my last appointment because my son Grayson was a whopping 9.5 pounds, 22 inches long, and it was a rough delivery. And so my doctor wanted to make sure that baby girl was not going to be as big, so that we could try for a vaginal delivery. And based on the scans, she is more average, more of like a normal, actually smaller, on the smaller side baby. So they are predicting around 7-ish pounds. So we'll see. There's always that part of me that doesn't necessarily believe them, because I know with my son, one of the growth indicators that they look at is the femur, and her femurs were measuring like in the 20th percentile. When my son was born, he had short little femurs, and he's proportionate now, but I think that he would have measured smaller. But anyway, we'll see. Totally okay as long as we have a healthy and happy baby, and I am very ready for her to be here. Other symptoms, I have had pretty minimal swelling in my ankles and feet, which is different than my last pregnancy. My last one, cankles were real. That was a big part of my everyday life, was coming home and putting my feet up. That is not the case with this one. We are good in that area. Let's see, what else? I mean, it's just kind of standard pregnancy stuff. I don't think I've had any like real crazy symptoms as of late. think of something while I'm talking, I will bring it up. Okay. By the way, the pregnancy brain is real. It's a real thing, and I use it as an excuse very often because it's very real. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about collecting colostrum because I did not with my first. And I honestly don't remember how much I've talked about my breastfeeding experience with my first, but long story short, we tried to breastfeed. We ended up doing combo feeding. So breastfeeding, pumping, and formula for about the first 8 weeks, and then I gave up. And I think there's a lot of factors that went into that whole situation, and I'd be happy to talk about it in another video, but essentially that is what happened. This time around, I'm really going to try to breastfeed and then pump and bottle feed so that Josh is able to help, and then also when she goes to daycare, she'll hopefully take a bottle and that kind of thing. And of course, we know that things don't always go to plan, and I know that, but I feel like I'm a little bit more prepared this time around to be successful. So I started collecting colostrum at 37 weeks, and it's been a really great experience for me in the sense that it's kind of just been like a refresher of what it takes to pump, and just kind of easing my way into it, getting my body a little bit more ready, and that sort of thing. So what I've been doing is, like I said, I started at 37 weeks, and I've been doing a combination of manual hand expression and then also trying out my pumps. So when I first started at 37 weeks, I started exclusively with the pumps. I've been working on getting the correct flange size, however you say it. There's 2 sizes that I'm really like going back and forth on, because it's hard to tell at this point which one is working the best, because with colostrum you don't have a ton of output. But it's been a refresher for sure on what the expectations are. But anyway, I started out using the pump. Gonna be fully transparent, going from not doing anything to doing that twice a day, a little sensitive. And so I've been kind of alternating between hand expression and then the pump, and I've actually found that hand expression has worked better for me for collecting the colostrum. And so that's been kind of a whole journey. And what I've been doing is I've just been collecting, well, if I'm using a pump, then I've just been collecting in the pump. But if I'm hand expressing, I just use like a little medicine cup, and just hand express into the little medicine cup. And then I bought these tiny little syringes on Amazon that are 1 ml, and I've been using those to store the colostrum in the freezer. Got them all bagged and labeled, and that will help kind of support us those first few days before my milk comes in, so that I don't have to panic and think like, okay, like if she doesn't latch, or we're having issues, or I'm not producing enough, or whatever the issue is, that way I have that supply there to be able to feed her, and I won't have to worry about like, okay, what do I do now? Because that was something that I experienced with my first, where we got home from the hospital. I didn't have any colostrum collected because at the time I didn't know that was a thing you could do. We had some problems latching. Obviously my milk hadn't come in, and I just didn't know what to do. So we ended up supplementing with formula, which is totally fine. It's all part of the experience. But this time around, it would be nice to eliminate some of that stress. So I don't know how much I've collected so far. I initially bought a box of 50 syringes, 50 1 ml syringes, and I've used that entire box, and I'm now in my second box. So I guess I have around 50 mils already, which is enough to feed her probably for a couple of days, but we'll see. Anyway, so it's in the freezer, and that's been a whole experience, and I feel like it's kind of helped mentally prepare me and physically prepare my body for like breastfeeding. My, not to be TMI, but like my nipples are like getting a little bit more used to like having the pump and that kind of thing. So hopefully they won't be quite as sore once I start actually breastfeeding, if that is something that is able to happen for us. So anyway, just wanted to share a little bit more about that. If you guys want a more detailed video where I actually have planned some notes to talk about collecting colostrum or breastfeeding, this was just kind of a random spur of the moment, sit down, unplanned talk about it, and I'm sure you can tell by how chaotic it has been. But anyway, I wanted to get this video at least recorded before she makes her arrival, which I'm hoping is any day now, because I'm still working full time, and it's really taking a toll, I guess is a nice way to say it. But I'm ready to be home for a while. So, okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry for how chaotic this video is, but honestly, that's my brain this entire pregnancy, and you know, maybe after she's born I will have a little bit more clarity. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you in the next one.